Welcome to Q&A Tuesday with Joe. Hey everyone, it's Q&A Tuesday with Joe, number 28. I'm very big with numbers actually. I follow through my life with numerology, and 28 has been a number that has been following me throughout the whole life. Okay, so for me, 28 is very important, and I try to never use this number and let it go to vain. So being a Q&A number 28, I figured I would talk about something very serious and very important. I think it's kind of like the biggest elephant in the room. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I have taken some time off for myself to recharge and think about things and just find out, my point of reference. Where am I in life right now? And where do I want to go forward? So this video is going to be a little bit long, and I apologize, but it's a very important video, and I hope and encourage you that you will watch it, and hope it will help you sort of readjust in your life as well. So before I go forward, I know this was actually a concern for a lot of people. What happens when you put your store on vacation mode? So before we go forward, I wanted to say I didn't put my store on vacation mode because of two reasons. eBay is my cash flow, and it's the only way I could take care of my family, and I couldn't risk that. I do know that there's a domino effect when you put your store on vacation mode. It may take a while for your sales to bounce back up. I couldn't afford doing that. And secondly, I have decided to take my time off during the weekend, so Friday to Saturday, because Saturday I don't work, and so I just had 2 days in case there's a lot of sales or any issues. I could definitely take care of them on Monday morning and Sunday night. So that's what I've done. And what I've done on my day off, on these 3 days off, is I have definitely gotten my shit together. So really this video is about get your shit together. And I've done it through, I guess, a 5-step process, which I'm going to talk about right now, and hope that it's going to help you. Maybe you can do the same for yourself and create a point of reference where you are, where you were, and where you like to go forward. So the first thing I want to talk about is examine your life under the microscope. We kind of go through life and we're sort of numb and bounce our heads against the walls like bats, but it's very important to really, really examine your life and get real with yourself. So what's standing in your way of achieving the success that you want? Personal, professional, spiritual, whatever. It's you. 95% of the time is you. You are standing in your way of success. Let's say 5% is the rest. Your job, your relationships, your money, whatever excuses you want to use, you can put that 5% to the side. But really, you are standing in your way of success. And I've read that in many books, and I used to say, yeah, whatever. Well, it is actually. And I realized that while I took the break and really looked at myself and my life. And you need to get fucking real with yourself. And that's what I've done. So you need to figure out where you are right now. Okay, what's going on? Are you afraid? Are you afraid to take risks? Are you afraid to maybe try something new? Like, what's holding you back right now, this minute? For example, eBay. eBay could be, let's say, the most famous question, I've done this eBay for a while, my sales are slow. Well, what have you done? Like, do you have fear to try new things? Do you have fear to maybe take a look at your store and maybe you realize that your titles are crap? Maybe you're selling crappy products. Okay, so there's certain things that you really need to address with yourself and be real. And don't worry about other people. You got to address this with yourself. Okay, is it lack of knowledge? Do you need to lose weight? Okay, are you overweight? Maybe you're eating crap. Maybe you need to get rid of shitty people in your life. And maybe it's not the shitty people they need to get rid of. Maybe you need to get rid of your attitude. So that's something that I did that for myself, and I had to get real. And the way I did that with myself is simply, I just sat down and I wrote the stuff down, and I just asked myself straight up, what the hell's going on? And I just started writing. And that took me to the second point. So you get real first, but then you need to get clear. So you need to make a commitment to get to know yourself. So Tom Bilyeu, which is a person that I strongly encourage for you to follow, and I'm going to put his YouTube channel below. And of course, I don't get any money out of it, but I just think he's a person worth following. He says that we need to use better phrases to describe ourselves, to get ourselves out of this identity we created about ourselves. So what's this identity? So we need to have an awareness as to who we are and what we're good at and what we're not good at. So a self-awareness about ourselves. So for me, just to give you an example, I'm not a morning person, right? So I need to create some form of a discipline in the morning that gets me out of that rut. So a workout routine, right? And for example, my emotional muscle. So I overreact a lot of times, and I tend to get angry quite a lot and quite often. And I needed to sit down and get clear as to what was getting me angry. It was not the people, it was just triggers about my past. And I'm going to talk about my past right now. And I have suffered with depression for as long as I've known. Okay, so I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life, and there have been a lot of triggers in my life, and these triggers have caused me to sort of flirt with depression many times. And these triggers would sort of be in my head, and these triggers, sometimes they would be so real that I would believe that they happened, because I've been through a lot of traumas when I was a kid. And you know, unfortunately, life throws you these triggers at you to either resolve them or to keep repeating them until you resolve them. So it's very important to get clear with yourself and where you are. And I had to get clear and realize that I do have, you know, certain depression, I guess, moments that they need to be addressed. And when I have these moments, this depression, I need to take care of myself. Nothing else matters, not even my family, until I get a hold of myself and really do a lot of self-care. So it's very, very important to get to know yourself. Have this awareness about yourself and understand yourself better. You know, why do you react this way? Why do you emotionally eat? Why do you go gambling? You know, it's not the gambling part, or maybe you have an addiction. Like, for example, I have a coffee addiction. So coffee addiction for me is because I don't sleep well. I suffer from insomnia, and there's a domino effect which forces me to drink a coffee so I can handle my work. And when I do that, I'm very anxious, which causes me to have even more triggers, which causes me this flirtation with depression to happen even more, and that affects my personal and business life. So I got really clear with myself with that. And I encourage you guys to really get clear with yourself. Maybe you have an addiction that you need to address. Maybe you have a compulsive behavior that you're doing that you really need to stop. And it's not the behavior that's bad. It's what is the trigger that's getting you to do that. So that's something that you need to get clear with yourself. Okay. Rome was not built in a day, but certainly started with a brick, and you need to figure out that first brick for yourself. Okay, what is it that can help you start building your Rome, right? And to get to where you need to be. And number 3 is the get to where you need to be, and that is begin with an end in mind. And that's a Tony Robbins saying, and I've actually read it in Dale Carnegie's book as well, the 7 Steps for Highly Successful People. So the successful people really got it down path. You really need to have an outcome. You need to know where you're going at the end of the day. And I think we're vague and we're kind of hesitant in life because we don't really know what the hell we want out of life. And that's very important to get clear on. Okay, so what is the impact you want to give to the world? Why do you need the money? So you got to be bold about it. And it's okay to have impossible goals. Why not? You know, we only live once, right? And for me, I see myself being on a stage speaking to thousands of people about my story and about my traumas and my experience and how I overcame them, so I can help them stop allowing their past to dictate who they are. So I'm going to say something very important in this video. You are not your past. Your past is a series of events that happened to you. But these events don't define you unless you use them to define yourself. So think about that, okay? I'm very passionate about helping people get out of their rut and use their life experiences and traumas, and good or bad, to use those and turn them into jewels of power and strength, because you can do that. So these goals that you create, make sure that they're yours, okay? They're yours. Own them, not someone else's. Just because someone wants to make a crap load of money, you don't know their reason and their why. So it's okay to make a crap load of money if all you care about in life is cars and girls. That's cool, as long as you really deep down inside that's what you want. So I'm going to use Dan Bilzerian. I can't even say his name. So he's a professional poker player and he's made a ton of money. And his Instagram's got, over millions of views because he's got all these chicks, hot chicks in, his like pretty much an orgy in his page. And it's like the ideal thing for a man. And I admire this man only because he knows what he wants. That's what he wants. That's what makes him happy. And that is okay. As long as this is what you want truly in your heart, that's what's going to make you happy. Dude, more power to it. Go at it. Okay, so be bold about what you want and get this ultimate goal. Okay, so you need to create vision boards, maybe mantras. Use mantras for yourself. Maybe a gratitude journal. Maybe you need to listen to a fired up podcast, like whatever, strong podcast you need to listen in the morning. Whatever the fuck you need to do to get your drive fired up, okay? Because it's really all about your drive, guys. Okay, it's not about your motivation. Motivation is like a short-lived rave, okay? So you go to rave, you do a bunch of drugs, you get all high, you party for 10 hours, and you go home and that's it. That's motivation, okay? Motivation is short-lived. You need to get your drive jived up. So a drive comes from within. It's this fire that gets you going, and you need to light it up from time to time, okay? And the way you do that, well, number 4 is unicorns are not real. Sorry, guys, they're not, okay? They really aren't. We try so hard to believe in shit that has no proof because, looks cool, but numbers don't lie. Community is everything. And for me to be successful in this business, I knew that I had to associate myself with successful people, like for real successful. Not a lot of rah-rah on YouTube, lots of followers, but the ones that actually have the numbers to back their story up. So it's very essential for success. And this association with smart people is going to get you to where you need to be, okay? Because they're going to stand by you and they're going to believe in you, and you need that, especially at times of, when you're struggling with things. Gary Vee says that you are not born an entrepreneur. And while I believe that's partially true, I also believe that you can learn to be an entrepreneur if you put the work into it and if you follow through the steps of successful people. So you can become anything you want. If you want to become an entrepreneur, you can totally learn to become one. So, we are very communal as a human species, right? We respond positively when we are surrounded by a good community, right? And this is what myself and Jonathan want to build. We want to build a community that's a catalyst of change. And we want to provide the support, to someone, for example, that's really struggling. And I'm not necessarily just talking about numbers. I'm also talking about personal struggle. And that's why I wanted to talk about depression today. And I wanted to talk about, dark elephant things that people don't really want to talk about, because at the end of the day, we present you with a strategy, which works, by the way, guys. Okay. So, you've seen the numbers that Jonathan has. He has made $2 million in the last 2 years. So we can present you with that strategy, but if you don't address this, that strategy is worth nothing. And that's why I wanted to mention this today. You really need to get down and real with yourself and use the community to help you get through some of the tough and challenging times that could probably only be personal and not business. Okay, so reach out and seek mentors that really truly care about your success and not your followings and not just your money. Okay, look at their results. Are they transparent about their numbers? Are they willing to show you how much money they're making? That's very important. And also, how long are they doing this? I'm using eBay as an example because that's what I'm doing right now, but this applies to anything in life. If you want to be a car driver, you got to follow a successful person and you got to follow their numbers, okay? You need to trust that person has your best interest in you, has their best intentions to help you, and they're willing to help you build confidence because that's very important and help you push forward. Okay, so We want to be authentic and transparent because we've been through what you've been through, and you know, I'm very open about my struggles, and I think sharing them with you would definitely help you, and you can maybe find some similarities, and you can use some of the tools that I've used that they're helping me push forward. So that's very important. But what's the most important, I think, is the last part, and I promise this is it. I know it's been a long video, but I really need to talk to you guys about this. Okay, so number 5 is get to work. You gotta extremely own this piece, okay, because work and actions are the only thing that they're gonna get you results, nothing else. Okay, so you can talk about it, you can plan, you can be real about your struggles, but at the end of the day, you need to get up, you need to find your drive, and you really need to get to work. Okay, so for example, if you want it bad enough, you have to show up and play, even when it sucks, when it hurts, when you just feel sorry for yourself, when you're playing victim, when you're yelling at everybody, when you're just calling people names, whatever, you really still need to show up. So I'm going to use UFC because UFC, I love UFC. If I could have a channel to talk about UFC all day, I would. So in the last UFC 222, Sean O'Malley, that's his name. He injured his foot. Actually, he broke it and continued to fight until the end and fought with a broken foot and still won with a unanimous decision. So he really wanted that win. And I know I'm using this as a dramatic example, but if your drive is real and you really get down and you're real with yourself and you follow through with your dreams and your goals, then you're going to succeed too. And you really need to think like that dramatic, because there's going to be situations, and maybe your foot is not broken, but maybe your heart is broken. Maybe the traumas that you've gone through in life, they really are knocking you down and you just don't want to get out of bed sometimes. I've been there. Okay. Maybe you're taking out all your traumas in, to people that they love you and they're just, the closest things to you, and you're beating them up, emotionally. And, whatever that analogy that I use with the broken foot, use that for your own broken, whatever your broken is, and get up and fight and get to where you want to be. But you can't do that unless you really, really strongly know what the hell you want out of life. So I hope that this video is not too long, and I really wanted to go through this, and wanted to say that I'm back, and actually my store is doing amazing, and I'm going to start showing my income reports because I've been using the strategies that Jonathan has been talking for a while, and I want to show that they actually work. So I hope this video helped, and if you liked it, please like it and subscribe to my channel, and as always, happy selling, guys.